Welcome to part 2 of section 5.6 of college algebra. I'm Gregory Carlson. All right, this next example is a little bit different than the ones we've done before. Check this out. X is between -5 and 5. So that means that the only possible solutions, at least for X, have to be in between -5 and 5. So here's what that looks like on a graph. Remember, X goes left and right. So if X is between -5 and 5, that means all of our answers have to be in between these two dotted lines. Okay? So all of our answers have to be in between these two dotted lines. And how do I know that they are dotted? Because we do not have equal signs, so that means x cannot be 5 and x cannot be -5. If there were equal signs here, these two lines would be solid lines. Now, you remember, you could rewrite this as -5 is greater than, x is greater than -5, and x is less than 5, okay? And those would represent the individual lines. And remember, if it's x, it's a vertical line. So you could do it that way if you wanted, but I think it's easier to just think of x as living in between -5 and 5. Okay, let's solve this equation for y. So it's x plus 2y is less than or equal to 12. We need to solve for y, so we subtract x on both sides, which gives me 2y is less than or equal to -x plus 12. And then when we divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, we get y is less than or equal to -x over 2 plus 6. So we did not need to flip the sign there because we did not divide by a negative. So this says y is less than or equal to -x over 2 plus 6. So let's graph that. The intercept is plus 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the slope is down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So down 1 over 2 from the intercept, down 1 over 2. I notice that this is a solid line because we have the equals here. So let's make this line solid, just like that. Okay, now do we shade up here or do we shade down here? Y is less than the line, so y is less than, so that means we're going to shade below this line. But remember, we're shading only inside this x region, because x has to be between -5 and 5. So here's where your shading is going to be. And there you go. So that's the answer right there. We're below the line and in between -5 and 5. Let's do another one. I have 3x minus 4y is less than 6, y is less than 3, and 2x plus 2y is less than -4. Let's start with this one. Y is less than 3. So remember, x was horizontal, x was vertical, y is horizontal. So if y is less than 3, let's draw a dotted horizontal line right here. And that's a dotted line. I know it looks kind of solid, but that's a dotted line right there because we do not have an equal sign right here, so that means y is not equal to 3. So we have a dotted line, and y is less than this line, so we're going to shade below it. Now it's just a matter of solving these two equations. So here's the first one. 3x minus 4y is less than 6. Let's solve for y. Minus 3x minus 3x. -4y is less than -3x plus 6. And then divide by -4. We activate the rule, so we flip the sign. Two negatives make a positive. And 6 divided by 4 reduces. It is also negative, so -3 over 2, and there's our line. All right, let's graph this line. This is -1.5, So negative 1.1 is right there, approximately. And then it's up 3 over 4. So up 3 over 4. So there's the next point. This also is a dotted line. So let's make this a dotted line. There we go. And now let's figure out if we're shading above or below the line. Y is greater than, so we are shading above. I hope you see that these arrows are helpful when we're trying to figure out where to shade. Now let's do this last one. 2x plus 2y is less than negative 4. First, let's move the 2x over, so minus 2x. 2y is less than negative 2x minus 4. And now we should divide by 2. The sign stays the same way because 2 is positive. So y is less than, the 2's cancel, so we get negative x. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Excuse me. If you have any questions about any of this, make sure you leave your question in the comments. Let's graph this. So y is less than negative x minus 2. So here's negative 2. And this is down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Because remember, the slope of this is negative 1 over 1. So it's down 1 because there's a 1 here. So it's down 1 over 1. Also, this is a dotted line. Always put arrows on your lines to indicate that they go on forever. So, do we shade above or below? Y is less than negative x minus 2. So that means we shade below this line. All right, so now the only place where our shading overlaps is this region over here. Stay below the line y equals 3. And we shade all of this over here. And there you go. So that is any point in this region satisfies all 3 of these equations. And truly, this is kind of a pinnacle of linear graphing. If you can understand this in the next problem, you're pretty much at the top of the mountain. So you should for graphing anyway. So make sure you pat yourself on the back for making it this far. It really doesn't get any more difficult than this, except beyond just adding more, just adding more equations to your graph. So we'll do this next one in the next video, and I think we will wrap up 5.6. And chapter 5. So I will see you there. If this was helpful, please make sure you like and subscribe. Any questions, please leave them in the comments.